No one is perfect, not even the Uggs. But don't tell them I said that. Here are some screw-ups, edits, and extras from the last episode of The Ugly Truth. We call them Ugly Cuts.
Yeah, it's true. I don't remember. Well, we got the beginning of it when we were down in Anaheim because LA is always hot. It's always spring and summer in LA. They don't get winter and fall there very often.
No, it's always nice there.
Yes, but when these heat waves come through the entire state, it's not only hot, but it's really super humid. There's a lot of moisture in the air because the ocean is right there. Mm-hmm. And so it's oppressively hot. It's like you can't even breathe, and you feel like your skin is burning hot. And it was only like 96, 97, but because of all of the other added elements, it's kind of like when you're on the East Coast in the summer and it's like it's 92, but the humidity is really high, and you're like, I can't breathe in this thing. It's like so hot, you just can't even like stand it. You can't stand yourself. So it was kind of like that down in LA the last day we were there. Strangely, though, I didn't get any sunburns hardly. We got a little sun, but nothing too bad. But yeah, in fact, no one up here this week has gotten any sun because it's too hot to go outside. It's just simply too hot. You can't. It's dangerous. Right? I mean,
Sorry, there was a lot banging outside.
What was it?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
So she does a lot of drawing. She's come up with, we did this thing because we felt like they were spending too much time on their tablets looking at just, filling their brain with nothing.
Sure.
So we require them every day to look at something educational. And
well, why don't you take them to the library and make them get books?
Yeah, we probably could do that.
I know that sounds lame, but, well, maybe not for Ryan, because he's got a lot of reading he can do. He has a lot of books.
Yeah, he reads. When he's in school, he reads a lot. But
right. But like Olivia, when our kids were younger, we were pretty freaking poor, and so we'd go to the library once a week, and I let them pick out the maximum, which is usually, I think you can do 7 or 8 books a week. And so we would go to the kids section and they would pick out like 7 or 8 books. And I'm like, okay, that has to last you the week, so make sure they're good ones. And they loved it. It was like their most favorite thing in the world to go and pick out books, check them out because they had their own library card. And then they go home and they'd blow through them in 2 days. But at least they had them.
That's cute.
Yeah, and it's really, and especially when they're that little, they have to keep up on their skills.
Yeah.
Because they forget everything in a week.
No, that's true. That's true. So.
And I bet.
Yeah. So, no. And then we're talking about it. Her birthday is just around the corner.
I know.
She's going to be turning 8.
The big 8.
So, it's so funny that she's going to be 8 because to me, 8 seems like a big, like a big number. Mm-hmm. But she's so little. And
she is a tiny thing. That's true.
She just seems like such a small thing, and I'm just
like. But Paula, you were too. You were a nugget your whole childhood. It's not like you were a gargantuan.
I know.
You were tiny. And so is Stephanie. Our sister Stephanie. People thought that when Mom would put her down when she was 3 or 4 years old, they'd put her down, and people would go reach for her because they thought she couldn't walk. She was so small. She was a tiny little thing. Where I unfortunately did not inherit that, but many of my sisters did inherit this teeny tiny frame of our mother.
Yeah,
this tiny woman who she's not short. She's actually taller than me, but just the bone structure and the frame is tiny, very petite.
Let's use tall very
cautiously.
Yeah.
Well, Mom's 5'4.5".
Yeah, exactly. So I wouldn't really, use the word tall. I'm 5'3", and
okay. I think I'm 5'4". On a good day.
So when we all stand next to each other, we look like a bunch of shrimp. So
we look like the short books. Yeah,
yeah, right.
Exactly. Okay, so
there's nothing I can do because Victor's going to be leaving for Washington on the 16th of July. Yeah. And he won't be back until August 4th.
Oh, man. That's a long time.
Yeah, it's 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And so then by the time he gets back, the kids will be going right back to school within like 8 days or something.
Yeah.
And
That's a
so
long
we could have
time.
tried to squeeze it in there, but I'm just like, there's no way. I'm like, we're going to try and squeeze it in there, and then we're going to come back, and the next day they start school.
Yeah,
So-
don't do that. It feels like a long time, but once, when you think about it, and this was one of my pieces of advice to you, regardless of whether you're flying or driving, go a day early before you're going anywhere to do any kind of vacationing. So it's like,
Right.
if you guys are going to go to Disneyland, do not drive down at 4 a.m. and go to Disneyland that day.
No, I think
really
we're going to
ridiculous.
fly down the day before.
Good, because that way, if there's any problems like we had, you won't be losing any time doing the reason that you're there. And we were so glad that we did that, because we would have missed a whole day of our trip. And the thing that sucks about, anything like that, those tickets ain't cheap. And missing a whole day is a lot of money. It's like $100
Yeah, it's a
per
lot.
person that you're losing. So, yeah, definitely go down the day before. And yes, and I would definitely suggest flying. There's just no other way around it. Driving is really, really hard to do with kids.
Yeah, I think it sounds unpleasant, and
It is very unpleasant.
Then you got to deal with LA traffic and then parking,
Mm-hmm.
and it just.
The whole thing is, it's an added element that if you have to do it, you have to do it. But if you can afford not to, definitely fly. If you go to California Adventure, you have to see the World of Color. It starts at like 9:45 every night.
Oh, okay.
World of Color is one of the coolest shows I've ever seen. I started crying. I couldn't
Aw.
believe it. It's so good. Everybody was like, and the entire park stops and watches it. But there are ways to get really good views, so you might want to consider it. It's a little expensive, but if you can, you can get fast passes for it as well, where you can get in a good location and watch it. But don't not see that. You have
Okay.
to see it. It's the best. So, and then the other thing was if you see World of Color, you'll close out the park, because California Adventure closes at 10.
Oh, okay.
But Disneyland closes at midnight. I highly suggest you try to close out the park once. It's so different at night when there's no one there, because by 10:30 or 11, there's no babies.
Yeah.
It's all adult for the most part, and some teenagers, but it's so not crowded. You can literally walk on almost any ride. It's so fun.
That's cool.
And it's completely different. Like, Daryl and I went on the Pirates of the Caribbean at like 11:30 at night, and there was nobody there. It was so fun. I mean, there were people, there's a line, but it wasn't like
Not
it
like
is during the
before.
day. Yeah, and it's a completely different feel too, because things are starting to wind down. A lot of the restaurants are closed, so it's a little bit darker. It's really cool. It's a very cool vibe. So
fun.
strongly suggest you try to do that. You'll love it. So they'll love it. We loved it, and I didn't think I would, but I did love
Yeah.
it. We did the Universal Studios tour.
Hold on a second. Okay, go ahead.
No, we did the Universal Studios tour. Do you remember doing that with us, with Mom? Do you remember doing it?
Yeah, and then I did it later when the last time I went to Disneyland, which was like in 1998, I think.
Forever ago, right. Well, it's literally the touristiest thing you can possibly do.
I love it though.
I knew you would love it. How funny. So we get on it, and they update certain things. Like, you can go through the New York, and you go, and they had the not Real Housewives. Oh my God, what's that show? Housewives of Wisteria Lane. What was that show?
It's Desperate Housewives.
Desperate Housewives. The whole set is there. So we drove through that. We got to see The Grinch Stole Christmas. They had a little bit of a set there, and so we got to see that. And there was some really cool things. And then Jaws is still there, which was hilarious.
I know.
And so I was sitting right by the shark, of course. Luckily, because Malia and Hannah were having none of it. They were so afraid. I'm like, you guys. Now,
You're like, this thing is older than dirt.
It is. And not only that, but when I was a kid, I remember Jaws being a lot bigger. This thing is like 8 feet long. I mean, it's so little. It's nothing like what I recall. I thought it was like massive. But when I was a kid, of course, I thought it was huge. It's not. So went through all of that. But a lot of the fun part now is all like virtual reality. So you put on glasses and you're in like this warehouse where there's like screens that are like 200 feet tall. And we saw King Kong and what's that? Why can't I think of it right now? Fast and Furious. There was a Fast and Furious thing. That was really fun. But it's so funny because like there's a lot of active things going on right now. Like I don't know if you watch that show, The Good Life or whatever it's called. It's with Kristen Bell. It's on NBC. Anyway, I like that show, and it was active. It was currently filming, and Kristen Bell was there, but we didn't see her. But all the other people are there. You know, all the grips and the associates and all that stuff, and they kind of laugh at you when you drive by in the tram.
Oh,
because you're like typical, you know, tourists, you know, looking for a you know, maybe spotting a celebrity or something like that. But I also realized that there weren't a whole lot of locals there. Most people were from like Texas and North Carolina and, you know, far away.
Oh,
so this is Hollywood for them. This is a big deal. You know, they're in Hollywood, and you are, and it is cool. But to me, I'm like, eh. Like, but it was fun. I mean, it was really fun, but it is, I mean, for a local Californian, it's probably a little cheesy, but that just made me realize how much we take that for granted, that it's still Hollywood to a lot of people. Like, it's a big deal to see active sets going, and, you know, set designers and a reality show and the world of dance, and to see the play card of Jennifer Lopez's parking spot, you know, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
So, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, wow. You know, I mean, it was...
I'd be down for it, taking pictures and,
well,
you know,
I did take some photos. I didn't do the selfies, but I did take some photos. But, like, there's some Jurassic Park stuff there that I thought was really neat. And they had a bunch of cars from, like, Back to the Future. And so some set stuff was really neat to see. But it was just funny. It's like, Daryl goes, hey, there's Kristen Bell's car. I'm like, yeah, she drives a black Mercedes. What a shock. You know? It's like, come on.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was cool, though. I mean, it was cool until you get pulled out of reality when you see someone who works there going, oh, look at them. How cute are they? You know, then you're like, hey, screw you.
I would have flipped
We're
them
on
off.
vacation. Yeah, it's true. But anyway.
I'd be like, you're working. I'm sitting in my tram on
You're
vacation.
working. You're driving in a golf cart. It's 95. You know? So and it was significantly obvious, really obvious. And I think what it is everyone is just so tired of the anger that when you're dealing with people face to face, they're just like, oh, hi, friend. You know, everyone's really friendly. It's really nice. It was a really nice, surprising thing. So that's the benefit, you know, that's the benefit is when everyone's not looking at their phone or their computer and you're looking at people in the eye, you're just like, oh yeah, I don't want a civil war. You know, I don't want to be mad at anybody anymore. You know, it's really different. And so you'll look forward to that. You really will.
That'll be a nice relief. Hopefully.
It is. It really is. And it was, I mean, even when I turned to Daryl, I'm like, God, have you noticed how nice everyone is to each other? He goes, yeah, it's really weird because normally people are like irritated with other people's children and you're just like, ugh. But it wasn't like that at all. It was
That's
very
good. Sorry.
That's okay.
God. Knew this was going to happen. Okay. So, hold on a second.
Hello?
What?
Okay.
The highest is going to be 89 today.
Thank you for letting me know that. Please go. I'm almost done.
What did she
The
say?
high is going to be 89 today.
Oh, is that all?
And I think she's probably realizing that it's just 89 right now.
Does that mean that she gets to go swimming today? Is that what she's alluding to?
I'm sure she's trying to figure something out.
I see. And actually, the next day, I never saw her, but Ellen Pompeo was there when we were there.
Oh, really?
From Grey's Anatomy, yes. Apparently, there is a Twitter handle that I think it's like celebs at Disney, where people tweet when they see a celebrity at Disneyland. Apparently, it's a thing.
So when I'm there, you'll have to message me and tell me who's there, because you know I don't know how to do Twitter.
I will. I will tweet you, or I will message you and say, Paula, make your way to Frontierland.
someone cool.
McSteamy's there.
Oh my God. I'll be like, Victor, get the kids. I'll meet you over there.
It's like, Victor, I will be right back.
Going for her sprint.
Yeah. But there's always a celebrity there for some reason or another. Well, they all live there, so.
Yeah, really. I mean, they all have kids.
Yeah.
It's probably like taking them to a freaking park or something.
Yeah, it's like, what do you want to do today? I don't know. I'm bored. You want to go to Disneyland? Yeah, okay.
You want to go bowling? Let's go to Disneyland.
Let's just go to Disneyland. Spend a bunch of money on crap we'll never wear.
God.
That'll be fun.
That's funny. Yeah. We'll just have an Uber drop us off.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, God. That happens all the time. When we were at Universal Studios, we saw so many Uber dropping off kids. Just so many. Just dumping them off.
Oh, really?
Like, go! Oh, yeah. Universal Studios is not that big. So you could it's like going to Sunsplash. I mean, they have like 8 rides total. And, you know, you can just wander around and, you know, go, they have Starbucks there. And most people go to the Harry Potter world. Oh, that was the other thing. There's this big ride there. It's like virtual reality and roller coaster. I saw a kid. We were walking towards something, and a kid got off the ride and promptly vomited.
Oh, gross.
And he vomited a little bit, and his, like, it must have been his aunt or his older sister or something. It wasn't his mom. And she goes, oh, and you know how you do that bend over, you know, half Cheerio thing when you're heaving? Mm-hmm. And she put her hand on his back. She's like, oh, my God, are you okay? And the second she put her hand on his back, he just let loose.
Oh, God.
And I was like, well, okay. Happened again. I didn't see it, but the whole bathroom smelled of puke because someone had thrown up. And then there was a bunch of workers surrounding a pile of puke waiting for someone to come and clean it up. And I'm like, man, this ride must be serious. Now I want to go on it. The girls went on it, but we did not want to wait the hour to get on it. Yeah. But they did, and they said it was super fun. But they couldn't understand the vomiting. But I'm like, well, virtual reality actually can mess with you. Like, it doesn't feel like you can really, like, get into it and think you're flying or something. And if you get sick or whatever, that's, you know, probably not as uncommon as you think. So, yeah, lots of throwing up. Oh, so next week also, we need to talk about the McGregor fight and the state of the UFC. We haven't talked about the UFC in a really long time.
I know. I don't even know what's happening to it.
Yeah, so we'll talk a little bit about that along with your trashy television for summer.
Yes.
You're going to talk about that and whatever other wonderful things occur before then.
Yeah, I'm sure some fun stuff will come up before then.
Yeah.
Thanks for checking out this week's Ugly Cuts. Join us for an all-new episode dropping every Sunday on your favorite podcast platform and, of course, uglytruth.com. That's UGLEE truth.com.